Hey, everybody. Welcome to the postgame show. Ryan will join us in a couple of moments from the G1C. The Kings win at 116 and 111. You got to really admire the professionalism of DeMar DeRozan at this point in his career. The guy was magnificent tonight. But, Jerry, let me put my background on here for a minute. I'm just going to let you know, Jerry, that I thought tonight's game was an embarrassment for the NBA.
Don't disagree. I mean, it really is very much like a preseason game, to be honest, probably our summer league for that matter. I mean, DeRozan was brilliant, as you pointed out. I mean, it's a good news and bad news thing in my mind for the Kings is that DeRozan was clearly the best player on the floor. And it's also, if you're a Kings fan for the future, that's also the bad news. He was clearly the best player on the floor.
Yeah, and again, the NBA has trying to control tanking, but tonight I think is Exhibit A in the players that all were scratched. And I don't want to deviate from the game too much, but I want to get this across. Tonight was a bad look for the NBA, in my opinion. And the fans, you know what? They basically said, screw you. They didn't show up. I don't recall seeing the Golden One Center ever this empty since they opened up the venue, 10 years ago? I don't ever recall seeing the building the way it looked tonight.
No, that really, from watching TV, it was amazing. Anytime you could look up into the stands, it was obviously just tremendous number of empty seats, and would agree with you there. And the thing that bothers me so much, and this goes for both teams, all the guys out, and certainly there's a couple with the Kings, are legitimate injuries long term, but. Of course, with the Jazz, and probably there's no smarter GM in the league that knows how to tank than Danny Ainge. And I mean, Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, of course, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Keontae George. That's their four best players.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this, Jerry. If the Kings do not end up with a top 4 pick this year, you're going to look at this season as the biggest disaster since moving from Kansas City. Okay. You're going to look at a team that for the entire season, with the exception of the final 4 weeks of the season, couldn't win a meaningful game. And yet with 4 weeks to go, they started winning. Now, in all fairness, the players deserve a lot of props here because they're playing hard. And you know what? They should play hard because they're playing for their NBA careers. And I don't have any problem with the athletes competing to win. That's what they should do. But the list of players for both teams that did not play tonight, it's an embarrassment for the league. It really is.
Yeah, you'd like to know. I mean, I'd like to know, quite honestly, the injuries. And but we've been around the county fair a little bit. We know over the years, the flu-like symptoms, back spasms.
Yeah.
Tightness in the calf. I mean, you can always come up with it, and sadly, that's what tanking is. You're coming up with made-up injuries to keep key guys out of games.
Precious Achiuwa, again, the Jazz had no size at all tonight, and the Kings were able to really exploit that. We've talked a lot about DeMar DeRozan, but Precious Achiuwa has really developed into an everyday player that you can count on. He is very consistent, Jerry.
Oh, he is. I tell you what, it would worry me to death if I'm in the front office right now of keeping Precious Achiuwa because obviously he's on a 1-year contract. He certainly played. He's played for the Kings extremely well, as you point out. Seems to get better and better, and the league knows it. And it's a little bit like Jake LaRavia last year losing Jake, and of course Precious is playing much better than Jake ever did.
No question.
And so
it gives the Kings something they need.
Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, if they're fortunate enough in the draft to get somebody like Dabasa, another forward, then that would probably change things.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think you have to look at Achiuwa. In my mind, I'm not sure that DeAndre Hunter is better than he is.
And not only that, Keegan Murray's still on the roster, and he's part of the future. And you think his best position is the 3, and you'd like to see him there. And we've actually seen some of that this year. But DeAndre Hunter, they just acquired, and I'm with you. I don't think DeAndre Hunter is better than Precious Achiuwa. I don't.
I don't, well, especially for what the Kings need, as you just pointed out. I mean, I think Keegan Murray's best position is probably going to be small forward. Well, Precious Achua's best position is power forward.
Yes.
And then DeAndre Hunter's best position is small forward.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the reality of it.
Yep. I would say this. The compete level of the Kings you can't argue with. No. I mean, you can't argue with it at all. We are seeing what we have wanted to see for the last several months. We are seeing a large dose of the young players. And quite frankly, they're playing well. They're playing well.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, I do think it's one of those things. Sometimes when you have a shortened bench, you've only got 8 guys, it's really easier for the guys to play because they know they're going to play. It takes a lot of the pressure off for those 8 because they know they're all going to play big minutes. And so you don't worry about it, as opposed to, when you got that 12, 13 man roster, guys, well, maybe I'll play 10 minutes, maybe I'll play 20, maybe I won't play at all. And so, but the credit to them, I agree with you, Grant. I mean, they're playing their butts off, and you got to respect that. Hey, you went away, Grant. Well, I don't know where Grant went, but I'm still here, and certainly hoping that Ryno pops up a little bit. There's Ryno. Yay, Ryno!
I'm not going to leave you hanging like that, buddy. Wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, I guess we scared.
How you doing tonight?
You know what? I'm going to blame that on Ryan. Ryan came in and I went out. I'm blaming it on you, Ryno.
All right, fair enough.
Ryan, you don't have a good connection.
Okay,
I mean,
let me hop off.
audio-wise.
Let me hop off.
Yeah, your audio is not good. Jerry, what do you think of Killian Hayes? They signed him to a 2-year deal, not guaranteed, but what do you think of him?
Well, he definitely is a solid player. It looks like his shot is coming around from when he came to the league, he really struggled with the Pistons, obviously as a lottery pick, and he really just didn't get it done, quite honestly. But it looks like that there may be a player there now. My question, though, and still is I don't know that he's quick enough.
Yeah.
Basically he doesn't get past people, and he's moving the ball. It reminds me a lot of Beno Udrih as a player. Now, I honestly think Beno's was better.
Yeah.
Because Ryno could get past people better. And so I think that would be my real concern. I haven't seen him really beat people off the dribble and really create problems like that. And you really need that at the point guard position.
It's a great point. Offense has always been his issue. It's not defense, and that's why he was available. I thought tonight his shot looked very good, but offense has really been his Achilles heel. That's why he was out of the league after being taken high in the draft, Jerry.
Yeah, no, and I think he looks like me can play in the NBA. Can he be a 35-minute guy on a winning team? I don't think so.
Yeah, Jerry, you've been around this game all your life, and I started watching the NBA really up close for the first time in 1987. And the one thing that to me has always stuck out, teams make a lot of mistakes on evaluating personnel in garbage time, which is where we're at now. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's one of the toughest times to evaluate talent, in the last 15, 20 games when the teams are playing for nothing for the most part. I mean, individuals are, but you got to make an evaluation based on what you're seeing. And it's tough to, like tonight, you look pretty good against Utah. Well, but that's not really the Utah Jazz.
Right.
And conversely, the Utah's got the same problem. They've got some guys that are saying, well, yeah, they put up nice stats against the Sacramento Kings, but that's not really the Sacramento Kings either. And so, yeah, you make a lot of mistakes. You can, and certainly over the years, I know the Kings have, and just like every other team in the league, where you kind of fall in love with a guy, at the end of the season, he's putting up some numbers, and you think, oh boy, whether his name's Scalabissiere or Harry Giles or whoever, and then the reality sets in.
Well, here's the deal right now. Sacramento has 51 losses. Indiana has more losses at 53. Washington and Brooklyn have 50. You still play Brooklyn twice, including next Sunday and then in Brooklyn. I mean, wow. That's all I can say. Wow. But anyway, the Kings do win this. Ryan will try to reconnect from the arena. Jerry is back down in the valley after being up in the hills. How's a lot of snow up there, Jerry?
Well, not really. No, it's pretty dry except in just certain areas, up in the mountains, still some. But yeah, this amazing weather we're having, it was like in the middle to high 50s up there for several days, and were very nice. So yeah, I kind of think we need some snow and rain, both rain here and snow up there. Hopefully, we don't hit summer before April.
If folks are thinking of the Kings going on a win streak, remember the next game is Tuesday night against San Antonio. So they're going to be looking for their 50th win. No one really playing better than them for the most part. I get, Oklahoma City's on a roll again. They've won 9 of 10. San Antonio has won 8 of 10. You've got 2 teams in the West that are really fighting it out. They're separated right now. I'm talking about those 2 teams by 3.5 games, which is very significant at this juncture of the season. A 3-game advantage in the loss column is a big advantage with this few games remaining. But that will be your opponent coming up on Tuesday, Kings fans. So fasten your seatbelts. And I'm just going to say this. I have no inside information. I'm only speculating. If Russell Westbrook does not play on Tuesday against the Spurs, I don't think you'll see him play the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'd almost be surprised he doesn't, obviously. But that Spurs game, I mean, they're playing so well. I honestly, they and Oklahoma City look like they're both championship caliber teams. Obviously, obviously this Oklahoma City's done it. They're getting healthy, and I will say this. I still think Denver is to be scared. Once they get Peyton Watson back, they're one guy short right now, but they're close. And I don't know that I like those other 2 teams better, but I guarantee you Denver is capable because of Jokic and Murray of beating either one of them in a 7-game series.
And they don't care really about their seeding. They're not that type of team. As long as they're in the top 6, they know they can win on the road, and playing on the road is not an issue for them. So I'm with you. If they have their full roster, I put them right up there with anybody. You saw what they did last year going to 7 games against OKC.
Yeah. And, now, like I say, they, getting Aaron Gordon back, which is a key. And we tend to forget that he missed so many games. And that's affected the record. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. He's a big time guy. He and Jokic and Murray, it'd be hard to find a team with 3 guys that are any better than they are.
Yeah, no question about that. I think the real wild card as we look at the upcoming playoffs, and wild card may not be the right adjective here, but it's clearly Victor Wembanyama. If he's healthy, we could see something in this postseason, because this is how he's going to be defined by how he does in the playoffs. But watching him in the postseason this year, assuming he's healthy, he could take this team all the way to the trophy.
Yeah, he's kind of, and this team is probably 1 year ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
but they are ahead of schedule, and they've proven that they can beat the Thunder. They proven they can beat anybody. And,
Ryan coming to us from Section 105. Hello, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? How you doing tonight?
Good. Was tonight the fewest fans that we've seen at the Golden One Center, maybe ever, with the exception of the games that were locked up because of the protest? Do you think tonight was the lowest crowd since the arena opened, if you just go by what you recollect over the last, 10 years now?
Yeah, it's the fewest that I have personally seen over the last 10 years, hands down.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm just thankful that I didn't have to pay several $100s to be there. I'm very thankful for that. And I could watch a game for free in my recliner.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone should get a refund for being at the game tonight. And I'm not exaggerating about that. This is a disgrace to the NBA. It really is. It's an absolute disgrace. There's no other way to say it. And again, I really admire DeMar DeRozan, his professionalism and his desire to play. He should be commended for, just wanting to be on the court every minute of every game. He's only missed 1 game this year, and it was because of illness.
Yeah, I asked Doug Christie about him today. And, one of the things that I've talked about with Jerry is you have 9 guys that know they're all going to play. So there's runway there. You play a little bit looser, But in DeMar's case, he is really running the offense, or the Kings are running the offense through him, and it looks like he's having a lot of fun. It's getting him more open than it usually does, and everybody for the most part's moving. And he had a tremendous night tonight, career or season high, 41.
Yeah, and last night, too, where the Clippers had to double team him, and it created open shots for everybody else, and he really does. He's an underrated passer. And like
Yes.
I say, but well, I've said so many times. I mean, there's so many of the top level teams really missed the boat by not getting a real pro like that. I mean, he is truly a bucket getter, and he can draw double teams, and he will pass out of the double team.
Boy, there's no question.
He earned every single point tonight. I'm not taking that away from him. I thought there were numerous guys, Precious, that looked great. Doug McDermott was awesome as well. Killian Hayes had a good game. But to your original point, Grant, I don't see any way the NBA is not going to look at this game. And I would have to imagine, I talked to some people down low, that the Kings are on thin ice right now. When you put a team out there tonight, although they won, versus Utah, who literally sat everybody and has already been fined.
It's a bad look for the league. There's no other way to say it. It's a really bad look for the league. And they have to figure this out. This is something, Jerry, we used to see in the final week of the season, and you would accept that, right? On the final Sunday or Tuesday before the playoffs began, you would see this, and you know what? We would say, hey, it is what it is. Now you're seeing this 4, 6, 8 weeks before the end of the regular season. That's the big difference, and that's the real problem here.
Yeah, it really is. That's a scary thing to me, because what happens now in future years if they don't get a handle, as soon as teams are pretty clear they're not going to be in the top 5 or 6, do they basically quit trying to win as much as they should and cheat the fans as well as cheating the opponents?
Yeah.
And here's the ironic thing. We sat here on this post-game show, maybe 2 months ago, Grant, and I said, if they play the young guys, you will see a more competitive, better product. And ironically, it's happening with the Kings not playing their vets. So it's kind of that catch-22.
Yeah. Well, listen, when Dick Motta was the coach, and Dick was really here at the end of his career, and I believe was pretty much for a paycheck. But Dick had a lot of success in the NBA. He won a title with Washington. He took over the expansion Mavericks and really, I thought, did a nice job there. But I'll never forget a conversation that I had with Dick Motta about 1 hour before a tip-off against Mark Aguirre and Ro Blackman and Harper and the Dallas Mavericks. And the Kings were down to 8 players, and all of their best players were out. And I was joking with Dick about, gee, who are you going to play tonight? Jerry, he started Randy Allen and some other players such as that. And Dick said, you know what? He goes, you give me 8 guys that are fighting for their NBA lives, and I'll take them. You give me 8 guys that are clutching and scratching and really playing for their future, I have no problem. And they actually, they either won that game that night against Dallas, or it went right down to the wire. And Jerry, because you've been on every single aspect of a franchise. You've been in the front office as a GM. You've coached. You've been an assistant coach. You've seen guys that when they get their opportunity and don't have guaranteed money and don't have a contract, they play their asses off.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can count on it. That's just like you mentioned with Coach Motta. But yeah, I've seen it 100 times, been part of it in these situations. Now, the other side of it is it usually doesn't last forever.
Right.
It's one of those 3-4 game realities.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on a short term basis, that's like a team that loses a superstar for a brief period. Often they make up for it for a while, but they can't make up for it forever.
Wow. Yeah, you said that very well. By the way, somebody said, why would the Kings get fined? Remember, the Jazz got fined after they got fined $500,000 after they beat Miami in Miami. So you can get fined after a win.
Let me explain that line, because Adam Silver somewhat addressed it, and a lot of us felt like it was directed to the Kings and a couple of teams like them, like Indiana, for instance. He said, look, teams are playing their guys, but they're still bad. It doesn't matter. So we're going to look at those situations a little bit different. Whereas Utah has been sitting a lot of their guys, arguably for reasons that are And so now that the Kings are sitting Westbrook, they're sitting. I mean, I
Malik
love
Monk.
Malik, but a sore ankle for what is this, the second or third game now in a row? The
It's a joke.
this was a bad look tonight for the league
Very bad
altogether.
look.
This
Very
was
bad look.
not. This did not look like a typical NBA
Yeah.
game.
No, it's definitely spot on. You know what is not a bad look? That's New Works Plumbing. When you have plumbing issues you need to repair, they've got a fix for you. 916-731010 or at newworksplumbing.com. Water heaters, water line repair, sewer repair, water filtration, gas lines. That is New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. We're also brought to you in part by Bennett's. Prime Seafood and Steaks at Bennett's, Sacramento, Roseville, the West Side Grill in Rockland. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com to make a reservation. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. And maybe we'll see you out at Bennett's for their Prime Seafood and Steak. Kings win tonight. They are now 2 games up on the Pacers in the loss column for the worst record in the league and only 3 ahead of the Washington Wizards. Fasten your seatbelts.
Going to come down to the wire. I really think so. And I really worry about Utah figuring out a way to mush themselves in there. So yeah, it's a bad look for the league, and really, there's a reason why you should be at the bottom. You're one of the worst teams, not because you've refused to play your best players and that are able to play.
Jerry, it was about the 4:30 mark of the fourth quarter, I think, and the Kings hit Daquan Plowden hit a 3, and Utah called a timeout, and the entire timeout, Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, and Will Hardy were at the scorers table chopping it up.
Yeah, they were just having a good old time.
And he didn't really go back and do anything with the team, and it's those little things.
Yeah. Yep. Not a good look. Not a good look.
It's terrible. They were talking about, I was watching Craig Bolerjack and their telecast, and they were talking about that too. They didn't speak about it in a negative way. They were talking about them being teammates at UCLA, but it's just a terrible look in the middle of the game. It's just an awful look. It's just awful.
Oh, see, I have no problem with Russell and Kevin Love. That is what it is. That's today's NBA. They're
in the middle of the game, in the middle of a timeout.
Hey, but when Will Hardy, the coach of the team, is right in the middle of that, that's
I didn't see Will Hardy in the middle of it. My bad.
Yep, he sure was.
I didn't see that part. They didn't show that part on Jazz TV.
Yep.
That's a bad look, Jerry.
Yeah, you make a good point there, Ryno. But I like I say with Kevin, they're friends, and they have a lot of battles together and against one another. But that could be done before the game and after the game.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's like if you really want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
To me, it's the fact that they're setting out doesn't. To me, it's no different than a guy that's been in the game walking down there and shooting the ball. So I'm probably a little old fashioned on that, but I don't like the look. I just don't. I don't like the group hugs after the game either. I think they should show respect for one another and walk off.
I'm with you on that. Jerry, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. And we'll look forward to chatting with you on Tuesday after the Spurs game.
Can't wait. Really looking forward to that game. And obviously a couple of former Kings, Harrison Barnes and De'Aaron Fox, on the team that is, no question about it, a serious contender. So see you guys then.
See you, Jerry. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Good
Jerry.
stuff from Jerry. We welcome your phone calls if you want to get on. We've actually got Zach with us. Zach, go ahead. You're on with Grant and Ryno.
How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm kind of just, you guys know me for this whole season. We're getting more wins and wins this last 10 games, and I'm kind of just getting disgusted about it. It would be an absolute waste of a year. This is one of the, you guys have said this is the worst year of Sacramento Kings basketball you've seen. And even at the end of that, if we end up getting the 6th or 7th pick, bless you, then this would be, like you said, an absolute disaster. I love it's good that DeMar's playing professionally and all that stuff, but can we just not give him 40 minutes a game right now? Like, is that
Zach, you
possible? Like,
have to. Zach, you have to. When you're playing, first off, you have 9 players dressed. And second off, if you sit him on the bench with everybody else that's out, that's even a bigger red flag.
but I'm not saying don't play him. Just give me 15, 20 minutes a game, not 40. That's all I'm saying. Just give me cut his minutes in half. He's still playing. He can still start. But I mean, just get the other guys more. I mean, do whatever it takes. Play Patrick Baldwin Jr. Play get someone from the G League. Do whatever it takes.
So,
Uh,
Zach, let me ask you this really quick. Who are you running
okay.
the offense through? With the group that was out tonight, who are you running the offense through if tomorrow's not on the floor?
I'll go through Nee Clifford or get in the ball at point guard. Let Killian Hayes try to set some people up. Set Maxime. Set Neek. Anybody. I mean, the Utah Jazz, they didn't even like have like a center. Like those guys didn't even have any size. They're doing whatever it takes too. I mean, it's just so paramount to make sure that we get a top 3-4 pick. We have absolutely no big time assets for the future compared to all the other teams. And so we need like a franchise changing player to even be to keep up with the league. That's just my. I'm serious. We need more talent on this team. A top 3 pick, top 4 pick. I know Grant. Grant, you've been saying that we have a decent chance of getting top 4, but right now we're losing odd numbers as we speak right now.
Yep, I hear you loud and clear. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
Take care.
It's a rock and a hard place, Nate.
I would have liked to have seen the Kings lose tonight, but the guys on the court. Again, fans don't understand this. The players on the court don't give a damn about the draft. They don't even talk about it. They don't even care. But the coach doesn't have to play DeMar DeRozan 38 minutes. You're right. He could have played him 25 minutes. He could have played him 28 minutes. That's a coach's decision. And let's face it, the Kings don't win this game tonight without DeMar DeRozan's playing 38 minutes. They probably don't win the game without him playing 30 minutes.
I mean, no disrespect to the rest of the team. You have no offense without DeMar DeRozan on the floor. If you look, Doug McDermott isn't going to create his own shot. You're running down screens and pin downs for him. Neek got a really bad whistle, in my opinion, tonight. But anytime he had the ball in his hands, bringing it up, the Jazz pressed him. He didn't look good. I thought Killian played fairly well. He made more shots than he typically does.
Can I stop you for a minute? You just made a great point. You just said something that I'm surprised we haven't seen more of. The Jazz played Nee Clifford tonight differently than a lot of other teams.
Yes.
And we talk, Ryan, with Jerry and you about, is he quick enough? Does he have good enough foot speed? And I thought the Jazz, their effectiveness on Neek when he was bringing up the court tonight, I noticed. And I'm really glad you pointed that out. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that from the opposition.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, not all teams are set up to do that. It depends on your personnel, if you can stay in front of a guy. But tonight we worried or kind of questioned, as you said, Neek's foot speed. His handle, though, tonight, under pressure, just the zigzag dribbles, those natural moves that you saw Killian Hayes make where he kind of put the ball behind his back and then cross back over. That's not in Neek's game right now. So that'll definitely be a point during the summer.
All right. Again, if you want to call us, you can do so. Post-game show, the Kings win. And again, when you look at the standings, they're getting very dicey. You know, a week ago, it looked like, foregone conclusion that Sacramento was going to have the worst record in the league. Well, now that belongs to the Indiana Pacers, and they've got a 2-game cushion in the loss column. So they got 53 losses. Sacramento has 51. And keep your eye on the Brooklyn Nets because the Kings play them twice, including at home next Sunday to wrap up a homestand. You know, you look at Brooklyn right now, they're 17-50. They've lost 3 in a row, 10 of 8. And again, the Kings are 18-51. So keep your eye on the Brooklyn Nets and the Washington Wizards, who also have 50 defeats.
So I'm going to talk to both sides of the fan base right now. For those that are worried about the Kings winning games, the team that has had the worst record since 2019-2020 has not gotten the first pick. So there's your solace there.
Yep.
But for the guys that want this team to play bad or, lose, the Brooklyn games are everything. Those are the big games. You're going to get squashed by San Antonio. Terrible matchup for this team. Those 2 games against Brooklyn are the biggest on the calendar coming home.
No question about that. You probably don't beat Philadelphia. I say probably after San Antonio. but you definitely, I don't see any way in the world that you can beat San Antonio. I don't even think that's possible. So then you have Philly. They play at Denver on Tuesday night. So they have a day off to get ready for Sacramento. And they're right in the thick of things in the East in terms of, where they're going to be. When you look at games for the opposition, I always like to look at, whether the games are important for the opposition, right? So we know about San Antonio, but Philadelphia right now is in 8th, okay? And they're really still fighting for a top 6. They're only 2 games out of 6th spot. So these are really big games for Philadelphia, and they're probably going to lose to Denver. So this is going to be a huge game coming up for Philadelphia on Thursday night.
And we'll see who's going to be playing for him. You never know with Philly on
That's
a
right.
night-to-night basis. But yeah, I think, again, those Brooklyn games, watch out for those.
Yep. Amen to that. All right. Again, we are very happy that you have joined us here on the post-game show, the Kings win. So we talked about DeMar DeRozan. What did you think of Killian Hayes tonight?
I think you saw, in terms of his perimeter shooting, the best of Killian Hayes. I thought he shot the ball well. That's not usually the norm. He is very good at handling the basketball. The pressure does not faze him too much. Defense, pretty good. So I'm fine with him. And here's why I'm fine with him, Grant. When was the last time? Name me the last Sacramento point guard that was not a shoot-first point guard.
It's a great point.
So you need one of those guys once in a while. So you got to live with some of the misses. Killian, and this is only his 3rd week back, so some of that will come, just like Precious. Took a little bit of time to ramp up, but he's got to be able to make those little paint shots where he gets those floaters. I would not put too much into his 3-point shooting, though.
Spot on. Hey, I want to tell you about Sunrise Landing in Calusa. There are still some lots available. They're moving along with their various phases. Again, these beautiful models to choose from, 6 in all. I always like to point out that at Sunrise Landing, there's no Mellorews. Okay, you don't have any Mellorews. There's also no homeowners. This is a Blazona development project, and it's in a great location. It's directly adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. So keep that in mind. And if you need more information, you want to look at the lots, the floor plans, the best way to do is go to CalusaSunrise.com. That's CalusaSunrise.com. I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20 will get you to Sunrise Landing in Calusa.
Well done there. That's an A job.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I always try to, impress you, and with the beam being lit, I don't want to extinguish the beam with a bad read. So I try to really concentrate on that. Okay.
The beam being lit. Oh my goodness.
I know. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock, goodness. Fox Sports Sacramento. Ryan, I don't normally talk about other sports here, but I'm going to do this real quickly as we get ready to wrap up this post-game show, because I'm going to talk about this tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I watched every pitch of the World Baseball Classic tonight. And it reminded me of the way baseball used to be played when I loved the game. It had every aspect of what I want in baseball. Players with great defense, great pitching, trying to take the extra base, not swinging at bad pitches. It was a phenomenal atmosphere in Miami tonight. Phenomenal. And I did watch the World Series last year, and I was very impressed with what I saw. But it has been a long time. I want to say 20 years at least since I've seen a baseball game played the way it was tonight. Hats off to both the Dominican Republic and the United States for their performance tonight. That was a great spectacle in South Florida, and I commend them for that. It had me watching every pitch.
So I did not catch and that's awesome, by the way. I can't wait to go back and look. I didn't catch very much, but we did catch the last pitch at halftime. And my immediate thought was, come the start of the Major League season, that play doesn't matter because you have a catcher that's framing a pitch.
Assuming that you have a challenge left.
Well, catchers can't frame pitches. I know, but catchers can't really frame pitches. It's
that
either
that
a
was
strike
just a
or
missed
it's
call
not.
by the umpire. That was the ball was low. It should have been called a ball, and it should have been a walk.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Catcher still framed it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You have a good, safe drive home, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. For everyone else, we appreciate you as well. Don't forget our next post-game show is Tuesday against the San Antonio Spurs. Kings win. They have now won 2 in a row. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. Talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye now.